that time is now, when in fact the series is in fact back. And I'm pumped, guys. I'm pumped. So today, Dino Fury episode number 12. We're going to go ahead and get into it. I've missed this overlay. I always get so hyped when it's an A+ Morphinominal and I click that button and the Dino Fury overlay comes on and start talking about it. I absolutely love it. I had to go ahead and put my girl Izzy in here. Show her some love for this episode that she wind up having the focus on here. Representing, check out Carson's Corner, guys, if you want to go ahead and grab one of these Dino Fury shirts. Also, shout out to Carson's Corner, by the way. He's doing some incredible work. I know he's been kind of bogged down with personal things in life. So yeah, definitely go ahead and show your support to his channel or his page whenever you get a chance. Go ahead and purchase some stuff if you guys want. He's got some fire Dino Fury stuff. If you guys are big fans of Dino Fury, I highly recommend checking out just some of the products that he certainly has over there. So let's talk about this, man. Episode number 12, Super Hotshots. While this episode doesn't blow me away, I definitely have my issues with this episode. It's just great, first and foremost, to just even get a new episode of Dino Fury. So I'm forever thankful for that. So while this episode doesn't necessarily blow me away, I do love the fact that there are two things that happen in this episode that feel kind of unique to me. We didn't get ourselves a Zord battle this episode, which I'm trying to go back and think about the other episodes of Dino Fury. I'm trying to remember if we've had an episode with no Zord battle. And I can't recall. If there is one, go ahead and let me know in the prior first 11 episodes of this. So I thought that was pretty interesting that we actually got through an episode without the regular formula of Power Rangers of like villain of the week, Zord battle, saving the day sort of mentality. We didn't even get much of that. Even the villain of the week this week, the Fog Shell, I believe is what his name was, actually lives to see another day. Didn't get defeated by here. His Sporex is certainly still out there. I understand, especially when it comes to Nickelodeon's formula, they're not really big fans of like two-parters. They really want stories kind of contained into its own episode. So the fact alone that no Zord battle, they didn't defeat the main monster here in this week in Fog Shell, which, if you ask me, the main villain in here was probably Coach Bella. But the Fog Shell lives to see another day. So I'm definitely expecting him to maybe pop up in next week's episode. Maybe we have a little bit of a I don't know, like a two-parter of this character or whatever the case may be. So pretty interesting in regards to them trying to change up the formula, but still sticking true to whatever it is that Nickelodeon has, thing like their check mark in regards to, what's okay for them to finish off an episode in. So I was kind of surprised. And I think even for me, the ending of this episode came out of nowhere. I thought I had like 5 extra minutes and I was like, oh, that's the end of the episode. Okay. Listen, I dig it. I dig the sort of laid backness of it, right? Allowing sort of other aspects of the episode to certainly shine, knowing that you can have a semi-successful Power Ranger episode without all the big flashiness, right? I think if anything, what kind of took over for the lack of Zord battles was probably the reintroduction of the Dino Daggers, which I was so glad that we got the opportunity to see here. Although I would like to see them utilized in other ways, except for just being thrown. Granted, daggers are certainly meant to be thrown, but I would love to see it utilized as sort of like a short sword or something like that. But we haven't seen the Dino Dagger since, I believe, episode number 1. So the fact that they really heavily used it in this episode, I was appreciative of it. Getting the opportunity to see the Izzy, or I should say the Garcia family, utilizing their daggers at first, and then the rest of the Dino Fury team following Izzy's lead in regards to trying to take down Slither and the plan that he certainly had here this week. So I think the introduction to the Dino Daggers in here really worked. Cool, original footage for them to certainly utilize. They even appreciated some of the original footage that we got for the Garcia family versus Slither in here. Great usage of Super Sentai and original footage. But I think the little brief fight sequences, I think anytime we get original footage, really does go a little bit of an extra way, especially when it comes to Dino Fury. Like, they have such a great second unit director that brings some great techniques and just originality to his fight sequences, that I almost want to see more. Not to say that they're lacking when it comes to original fight footage. They're definitely doing an amazing job, but I always love seeing that more than even how they're going to adapt the Sentai fight footage, if you will. And so I thought the original fight stuff that we got in here was pretty good for the most part, to certainly say the least. But yeah, I appreciate the switch up. Not that necessarily, and I think if there was anything that really faulted me in this episode that kind of took me out, I really wasn't the biggest fan of the dialogue either in this episode. Some stuff was just maybe too on the nose. Some cringeworthy dialogue I felt probably more in the beginning of this episode, not so much the later half, but the beginning, like the peanut butter and jelly line by Ollie was a little bit rough to swallow and get through. Seeing maybe even the overperformance of the actress that played Coach Bella in here, like just the overhypeness. Like, granted, I get the idea of wanting to hype up your gym mates, but I don't know if it was just the way that it was shot, the way that it was acted and performed. Maybe if it was just the dialogue and stuff. Give you guys a round of applause. Commitment, 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 commitment. Oh, that's 4 words. Like, it's just sometimes the acting from Coach Bella in here was a little bit too over the top, right? Like, they really really did not. There was no gray area here. Like, you immediately knew Coach Bella was like a douchebag, right? Like, there was just, oh, that watch looks pretty cool. Like, what, we're bargaining now for people's property in order to become a member of your gym? Like, okay, you're a bad guy. Like, and she's not even trying to hide it, guys, right? Like, I mean, talking about other people in front of Izzy when Izzy comes into her office, sort of thing. Not even like whispering, like, "Hey, super hot shot, you're the best person in class," and then literally 3 feet over, "Hey, super hot shot, you're the best." Like, come on, like. And I just feel like Coach Bella, if she truly acts this way in front of everybody, there's no way that she's becomes as successful of a coach as they certainly make her out to be in here. So it sometimes just felt too on the nose. It's like, I won't even insinuate or hint at the idea that I'm a big jerk. I'm just going to show you immediately. That's why I was saying this episode truly didn't need a villain of the week, because the villain of the week really turns out to be Coach Bella. And I got to say, though, I really love the her stepping up. I mean, we get the idea of seeing her wanting to go ahead and step up her training in here. She's clearly a very serious competitor. We've seen that so far. They've already sort of dropped those breadcrumbs for us throughout this particular season, right? With not only her race that we saw her in, but also, how she trains with the Sarah Dalton character. I can't remember her name right off the top of my head. I'm drawing a blank here, guys. But we've definitely seen that competitive side when it comes to even when we get the opportunity to see Zato, meeting her for the first time to go ahead and interview her in like episode 4. We see how serious she certainly takes her training in here. So it makes sense that she definitely wants to go ahead and take it up a notch, take it to the next level. And so I love the idea that she's taking that initiative in this episode for sure. And I really appreciated the fact that we got some great and solid like supporting characters. Fern is certainly coming back. Now, granted, I have been kind of spoiled in regards to episode 14, so I know exactly where that certainly leads to. But I like the idea that this is now Fern's second appearance in here. I do expect her to certainly pop up maybe a few more times throughout this season, which will definitely be appreciated. But it shows to me that they're leading up to something and not just plopping it out of nowhere, right? The idea that they're reintroducing Fern, I think, is a really great way to go ahead and eventually lead to that storyline. And then, of course, we got Adrian in here too. So I like the fact that we're not just focusing on our 5 Rangers. We are introducing other supporting characters, and I think they've done a pretty good job in regards to that, especially this series, when you got somebody like Pop Pop, who's been a great sort of supporting character all season long, the addition of Fern and Adrian, I think will really go a long way in regards to at least allowing our Rangers to have other people to perform and have chemistry with on screen instead of just their own teammates and things like that. So I really did appreciate it. But getting the opportunity to see, the struggle that I think Izzy certainly has to deal with wanting to be committed to getting better, but at what point is it too much, and do you realize that this person is just kind of taking advantage of you, right? And I do think that this episode kind of speaks to maybe a lot of trainers, maybe a lot of influencers and stuff that you might see on social media, right? I think sometimes we can get blinded by all the positivity, or maybe even fake positivity that people kind of give us, when at the end of the day all they truly care about is sort of our money and us supporting them sort of mentality. You know what I mean? Not really caring too much about a particular person. And I think some people do fall into those traps. And so I do like the idea that this episode at least kind of brings that to people's attention a little bit. But seeing the idea of Izzy understanding the pushback that Coach Bella's certainly given her, really understanding just how much she truly doesn't even care about these competitors, but really just wants the money. I think she really goes a long way in regards to at least holding Coach Bella accountable, right? And calling her out. And if there is anybody that's going to call anybody out, it definitely is Izzy, just based off of her personality alone, which I enjoy. I think it makes Izzy certainly original in the fact that she's willing to step up to protect her friends, not let somebody get away with doing this to people. And I think that's something that we might be missing in societies these days, is the opportunity to hold people accountable when they do something wrong. You know what I mean? And so to be able to have Izzy step up, even to the point of having the confidence in herself to be the trainer, right? We see her helping the Power Rangers train, doing some stretching in the very beginning of this episode. And I think the idea that she's, one, already helpful, two, she's already seen how everybody's been mistreated, but three, knowing that you're probably fully capable of helping these people train and get better also, I think really speaks volumes for who the Izzy Garcia character is. And I think it also goes to show her character, the fact that she goes out of her way to get the watch back for Adrian, who Adrian had to go ahead and give up his watch just to join the freaking gym club. Again, I mean, just so on the nose. I mean, my goodness, talk about a con woman at her finest. Talking behind people's back. Oh, you'll be surprised at all the stuff that people will give you in order to become a part of this gym. Yeah, I bet. Like, I'm kind of like, your whole outfit was probably purchased by somebody else, man. Like, it's yeah, pretty disgusting, and kind of see what Coach Bella did. But again, there was a part of me that wishes it was a little bit more subtle, right? Something that really had to be discovered in regards to Coach Bella, whereas Coach Bella just let you know right off the bat, like, yeah, I'm kind of an asshole. I'm kind of an asshole to people. And she definitely showcased that here in this episode. But yeah, really enjoyed the aspect of what we're going to be getting here with Izzy. And I will say this, there is a particular shot that I thought was rather interesting in this episode that I want to go ahead and bring to your guys' attention, as once Izzy winds up actually getting her brand new workout gear for the gym, along with Zato, who winds up joining them. They're checking themselves out in the mirror, and Izzy winds up striking this pose, which for those of you who watch Super Sentai might recognize this pose, and I got a little bit of a chuckle out of it. I don't necessarily even know if Tessa Rao or whoever directed her to do this move. I don't even know if this was an ad lib move, something that she just put on herself, or if the director or whoever told her, hey, bust out this move real quick. But I found it interesting that she tackles this move, because for those of you who are big fans of Kara Major, Kara Major also has a Green Ranger by the name of Cena. And she's also into track and field and an athlete herself. And her henshin sequence, when she actually transforms into Kara May Green, she busts out this move. For those of you who've seen it, she literally goes boom. She hits it. She hits it every time that she henshin sequences, and it's just fascinating to me that we've got a Karame female green here and a Dino Fury female green here, busting out the same move. So I don't know if that's just eerie coincidence, or if somebody actually directed her to pull that out as a cool homage to Cena from Caramasia. But if not, I mean, granted, I feel like people probably do that anyway. But I just thought it was pretty cool, considering that we've never had a female green before in our ranks, and the fact that now that we have one, and it sort of links up to Karame Green here, I thought was pretty cool in its own right. Let's see here. What else do we have to talk about in here? Oh, quick honorable mention: Buzz Blast must pay great, guys, because these Rangers have no problem dishing out money to help their friends. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. But I mean, listen. First, it was the $5 or $10 to the sidekick from Ollie to Amelia. Then we had them all chipping in to purchase Javi a new guitar, and now everybody's pitching in to purchase a new workout suit for Izzy. I mean, truly great friends, guys. Talk about truly being supportive of one another. And the fact that she wind up using that money not for a new workout suit, but to go ahead and get Adrian's get his watch back, I thought really spoke volumes, honestly. Let's see here. I gotta say, the Slither and Mucus stuff, I really enjoyed here this week. I thought it was a pretty fun plan of theirs to go ahead and sort of intercept the Power Rangers hotline phone calls in order for them to go ahead and actually get the jump on getting the Sporix for themselves before the Power Rangers even arrive. Like, I am kind of curious as to how much that plan actually worked, because I would like to see that power level for Void Knight go up just a little bit just from this episode alone, because it seems like they definitely had some fun. Like, even Slither's either hearing Zato's voice complimenting Slither, I thought was pretty funny. And then even seeing Mucus's impression of the Red Ranger whenever Amelia winds up calling him to go ahead and kind of set up the trap right once they figure out what's certainly going on here. But yeah, I love Mucus trying to impersonate Zato or the Red Ranger over the phone. I thought super creepy, but I appreciate the attempt. I appreciate the attempt, to certainly say the least. And it is one of those things where, because of the fact that I truly continue to really love Mucus along with Slither, and him being such the showman that he is, there is an episode in Real Soldier towards the end of the season or the series itself where Slither has like a stage show performance, sort of as like his last battle, right? Like his last fight with the Real Soldiers. He goes ahead and has like this big stage performance and stuff. And considering the fact that we have seen a musical episode already from Beast Morphers, I really would love to see them. It may not necessarily have to be shot for shot like the Super Sentai or even using Super Sentai footage, but I really would love to see this crew try to go ahead and pull off a big Slither moment like that in regards to his stage performance that he winds up giving in Real Soldier. I certainly do hope that it makes a comeback at some particular point in time in this series. So I mean, even the idea of like Slither bragging about his actions in here, like when he goes and he starts fighting with the Garcia siblings, and he escapes, he's like what does he say? He says, let me see. Oh, he says, and then he says, and then I said, now you don't, because I think he did like a magic trick to go ahead and escape the Green and Black Ranger. And he says, now you see me, now you don't. And then he's gone. I love the fact that the next shot comes in of Slither bragging to Mucus about his battle with Black and Green. The fact that he continues his story in there, it just goes to show you like the showmanship, the confidence that Slither has in himself, and the humor that certainly really does go a long way with these two characters. So I love the fact that they're really a comedy duo almost to their own extent. The Jane and Jay Borg stuff, I didn't really care for this much. The Cyber Coach, it was whatever. I chuckled a little bit, but outside of that, they didn't really do anything for me this week, which I'm not complaining about. I think if anything, it definitely helped the episode move along a little bit better. I'm not, I don't mind Jen and Jay Borg. They definitely do it for me here this season. I know some people certainly feel a certain type of way about them sort of being that comedy duo, but I do think from time to time they actually do hit the nail on the head. So I don't mind them so much, and their lack of inclusion in here didn't bother me, because I'm sure we'll probably get more of them as the season certainly progresses. performances. But yeah, man, overall, I think if anybody really stood out, it certainly was the Izzy character, standing up to Coach Bella, understanding that, yeah, while she certainly wants to go ahead and get better, it's certainly not worth this, right? This opportunity to be lied to be, boosted up, only to really the person not really care about coaching you or whatever the case may be. So I think if anything really took me out of this episode, again, it's probably the dialogue was a little bit cringeworthy, and there was some overacting and performances in here. But again, it is, at the end of the day, Dino Fury and Power Rangers is a kid show. So the idea of really making Coach Bella as obvious as a villain shouldn't surprise me, because I think if they're trying to appeal to 5 or 6 year olds to let them know, hey, people like this are evil, I think they did a pretty good job in regards to that. But for me, a little bit too overacted, and some of the dialogue was a little bit cringeworthy in here. But outside of that, I really love the Izzy stuff, the Fern, the Adrian stuff, really building a supporting cast and group of friends for these characters to certainly build off of. So I think for me, that's definitely a win at the end of the day. But listen, what do you guys think? Again, these are just simply my A+ opinions. I definitely want to go ahead and know yours. When it comes to episode 12 of Super Hotshots, did you love it? Did you think it was just okay? Did you have any issues, pros, cons? Certainly go ahead and let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section box below, guys. So let's spend a few minutes here just talking about this episode and seeing what you guys are saying in regards to it.